Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Nightcap Knowledge. Put the kids to bed, get your nightcap. Real talk, real issues, real solutions. DJ George Chuck talking to you right now. Mr. Mac coming in just a moment. Go ahead and share this live. It's time for Nightcap Knowledge. One time for your mind, everybody checking in. Thank you for all of the clicks, the views, the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nightcap Knowledge. And here we are. Mr. Mac, unmute yourself, sir.
I was like, where's the music?
You can't hear the music?
No, there was no music.
Oh, man, I think that little video thing, the little video clip, I got to get my production together, man. Music is still there, but
yeah, I was like,
yeah. I think when I do this,
yeah,
it cuts the music out.
Oh, okay, because I remember we used to have some music or something. Then
yeah,
we had
I got to put
what's going on. Oh man, we got $1 Black in here. What's free?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to old $1 Black man checking in with us and everybody on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. We appreciate everybody, man. That is a very, very pertinent question. Very, very pertinent question. It is the title of tonight's episode, What's Free? And, freedom ain't free. So, most definitely, man, you got to fight for it. But before we get into all of our conversation around freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the archetype of happy, man, we got to do a recap, man. Mac, what you been up to?
Man, it's been a very, very busy week for us. So, we've been out. I know Sabir was in Laurel doing voter registration that turned out really well. We had presence in Holmes County this past weekend. Got folks signed up, of course, increasing our presence with pledge cards or pledge sheets and, registering folks to vote. And because elections have consequences, leadership matters. June 8th is around the corner. This was the last weekend to get folks to register vote to be able to vote in the general election in June. So now we in GOTV mode. We in
GOTV. Get out the vote.
We got to get it going, man. We've been working in different areas. I know one part of Byram, this will be new for us to actually hit Byram coming up. That one section of Byram that has about 1,400 registered voters, they had about 27 people to get out.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. We talked about that one day. Now say those numbers again. Say it again.
It's like 1,400 people registered in that area, and about 27 people actually got out and voted. So there was a discussion this past. We'll get into it more in the show. We talk about freedom and help understanding all those things. How we look at things in the hierarchy structure. Why do we get out more for presidential elections when the people we never see? Maybe once, if they ever, maybe once when they're running. But we do not get out in large numbers to choose the people that we can put our hands on. like our municipality and supervisors and things of that nature. And we don't learn as much in school at all about the power of the municipality government. We learn about state government, learn about federal government. We don't learn the power of the supervisors, election commissioners, the things that you're going to run into, things that orchestrate local change. You don't never learn about that. So it's going to be upon community organizations like ours to educate folks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not only up to us, but most definitely up to, everybody. So if you're a person that lives next to somebody and you never have, that type of conversation about, hey, elections coming up, you want to volunteer, you want to, what do you want to do, or what are you doing around, just have that type of conversation. The more, understanding that we can gain with our neighbors and those close to us, because a lot of times we just live next to people and we never become neighbors. And we don't have that opportunity to gain understanding and in essence be able to live freely, amongst the folks that we live next to. So, I want to be my most authentic self with everybody that I come across. And I think, that's one of the things that we'll get into later on in terms of, being free.
Right.
All right.
And reminding everybody that this show is rated Black and Uncensored, and it is real talk, real issues, real solutions. And we always start off with our nightcap.
Yes, sir.
What you drinking, son? What you drinking?
Man, look, I you know me. I'm an adventurous person. I'm always, one of the folks that are early adopters of things. I'm not endorsing this in no way, but I can say that this is a pretty nice pour. It's 5 blends of whiskey. 5. So fistful of bourbon, 5 blends of straight bourbon whiskeys.
Wow.
And man, look, I'm trying to tell you, man, this stuff, it's got a little sweet hint to it, which is like, this, like a buttery toffee type thing.
Yeah.
But it still got enough, burn to make you feel like you really drinking like a straight whiskey, straight bourbon. Yeah, some real whiskey.
Yeah. Right.
But real nice notes, like cinnamon and licorice and all of that. But look, brother, hey, it's not a bad price point either. I saw it, I was like, hey, the bottle is attractive, it's got some cool colors. And then it said fistful, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
fistful. Like, yeah. So I was like, hey, I'll give it a try. And let's see, it's aged though at a minimum of 2 years, so not very long. But I'm thinking that the other whiskeys may be aged longer, and then they blend them, and then they age this 2 years because it tastes, fairly, mature. And then it's 90 proof. So
you did it on the rocks, or how you do it?
Straight up on the rocks, bro. Straight up on the rocks.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. In my special glass, love this glass, man.
Yeah. So this has been my new glass. I have 2 glasses. I got a little tumbler type of Yeti that I keep outside, the other refrigerator that I use, and then I got the one in the house that my birthday glass.
That's your rock glass. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So this is the one I use all the time, and I'm trying to see, since you're doing something, you said 90 proof.
Yeah, this is 90.
I got 2 things here that's 90. Bourbon. I got a little corner left of Uncle Nearest. And then I got some Elijah Craig. Craig is 94 proof, and the Uncle is 93. Which one should I pour, Chuck?
I mean, be consistent. Then you had Elijah Craig last week.
I think I had tequila last week.
Yeah, tequila.
Had tequila. I don't know. Shit. We drink every Tuesday, so I got to. So I'm now this Elijah Craig. Shout out to my friend Chris Gold. He told me about this. It's a small batch, and it's definitely it's stout, right? It's a small it's a real bourbon, right? And it pairs well with a good stogie, and so I think I would take some of this Elijah Craig tonight.
Cool, man. And look,
I
and while
gotta
you're
give me some
doing
more
that,
whiskeys and bourbons.
yeah. While you're doing that, we definitely want to, give a shout out to all the folks that are tuning in with us tonight. We see all of our people over there on Black with No Chaser, and our folks on YouTube and the Nightcap Knowledge page. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, viewing with us. Please leave a comment. Let us know that you're out there. And if you would like to answer the question, we got the question of the night, actually the topic of the night. Freedom ain't free. What is free? The topic that when Mac and I were discussing this, it made me think about Meek Mill's song "What's Free,"
Right.
and just to run through, where we plan to head tonight. We've got freedom of expression, we got economic freedom, spiritual freedom, and then the last one, freedom for justice. So, Mac, give me your mindset of where you are and where you were when we started talking about a particular topic for tonight, in terms of freedom of expression.
For freedom of expression is when one person. I tell you what made me thought about this. It was LeBron James responding to another murderer that killed a black person, and it's sad that so many situations like this happen that you can't remember what white terrorists, and I don't even want to call them law enforcement officers because we know some good law enforcement officers, but what white terrorists that was wearing a badge that killed another black person, and he was saying, "You're next," and his message referencing another that you're going to end up going to trial and you're going to be persecuted because the verdict had just came out with the murder of George Floyd, where where the officer, the former officer, was found guilty. So he was referencing that, but you had groups took it and tried to spin it, trying to, I think it was maybe some law enforcement in LA or somewhere to and having him investigated and all this. But he said it's amazing that he can say that and you say he need to be investigated, but you can have a man kill another man on video and then say we still got to wait, and then say we got to do a full-fledged investigations and we got to wait till all the information come out. Like, what other things do you need to research? What did you need to figure out? He can express himself one way and to be interpreted and taken a whole different direction. And so freedom of expression is, and then we are in such a hypersensitive society that you can't say things that you need to say that can help someone because how folks would, folks are not ready to hear it. And that's that's another thing when you start talking about freedom of expression. So it's like it's okay for everybody to have freedom of expression except for certain people. And that's one of the main things about that.
And just to be clear for everybody that's tuned in and talking and viewing with us right now, Mac is referring to the situation where LeBron James was accused of inciting violence, and I don't agree with him being accused of inciting violence. The thing is, and I guess this kind of jumps ahead to freedom for justice. You want to put, like you said, particular people on trial, said powers that be, folks that are in the political power structure, the government power structure. You would like to put particular folks on public trial, whereas when there is mounting evidence of wrongdoing, meaning that if a law enforcement person, officer, a member of a police department, a sheriff department, what have you, however you want to, whatever boat they're going to fit in, label that they can fall up under, if they do something that falls outside of the lines of the code of conduct, then it should be really, really easy because every company, every government organization has rules. Said if like what McRae's working on cause and effect, right? cause and effect. Right?
Yeah.
If this, then that.
Right.
Now, if my first grader working on cause and effect, if you put on a hat, the sun will not be in your eyes.
Right.
If this, then that. Now, most police departments have something that says, all right, if you do this, then this will happen.
Standards and
Meaning,
practice.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't understand, the I get the investigation because you want to make sure that due process is given, but it seems like due process is left out for folks like LeBron James, or especially when he starts to embody the spirit of Muhammad Ali, and those who have come before him and began, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, folks that speak out regardless of whatever professional sport or franchise they tied to. So look, I agree with you, bro.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. Like, I thought about that when you said freedom of expression, and there's so many other things that falls under that label of freedom of expression. But we're talking about freedom of expression in relation to freedom, and so even though I'm talking about freedom of expression, I'm talking about freedom of expression in relation to freedom. Like the new thing that's out now is Tim Tebow getting a second chance in the NFL for a position he never played, when they still haven't called Colin Kaepernick in for nothing, right? And they both kneeled on the field, took a knee on the field. But again, it goes again about freedom of expression.
Now that's news for me. That's news for me.
What?
You just gave me some news, because you know, man, when I leave the house, like I go to the baseball practice. Now, I have not heard that Tim Tebow is getting a second chance.
Yeah, for the Jaguars.
So you mean like in 2021, like where we are right now? I'm getting real close.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, and then for the Jaguars.
So you mean
to play tight end?
You mean to tell me that Tim Tebow, who couldn't be an NFL quarterback,
he'd have done everything.
Oh man, so
he'd have done everything, and came back full circle.
Yes.
Hey, and I'm telling you, the thing is, we can't make this shit up. And no matter how much we look at it and read it, and I tell us we gotta learn, we can't make this shit up. They try to create like a conspiracy theory. No, I said there's no such thing as a conspiracy theory. We got real life conspiracy that happens. Prime example, I watched folks make comments. This is not related to this, but I watched folks make comments. Black folks. Actually, it was a black woman that made a comment in reference to Kamala Harris because of the gas prices going up. What does it have to do with the pipeline? But who has a friend that's been hacking shit for the last 4 years? If you would lead an insurrection as a sitting president on your own capital, you don't think you will have folks do shit when you're not in office? I mean, you talk about but it's again, it's that blame, and you're talking about freedom. I watched and we're talking about this conversation with freedom. I just watched a Western. Willie Nelson made a lot of Westerns, and this Western here, I think it was the stranger with the red hair, stranger, some shit like that, right? Nevertheless, the community was held hostage by a group of 5-6 men, and for water. They were selling the people water. And when he came there and started to rebuild the town well, they destroyed it and wanted to burn it down because they had power over them. Because the people had to be they weren't just so much afraid, but they had the only source of water, and they had beat them people down so bad that folks were so scared to even to climb down in the hole. And the only thing Willie Nelson did when he got there was just kept digging and kept trying until he reached water. But he had them captive so bad psychologically that they wouldn't even try to go dig for water. They rather just come up with the money and buy the water. So and I like, man, that is directly related to what we deal with now when it comes to freedom. Is like they want to keep you toehold somehow to something where you are afraid to really get out there and fight because they say they got something that you really need. And as long as they have this, they know they got you. They got power over you. So so it's so freedom is a very, very, very diverse word, and it means multiple things to multiple people. But for Black folks, for mostly when we start talking about freedom, we can go down the list. I don't want to get off topic with the list, but that was just because everything we can define it.
Let me throw this in there. So LeBron James, he catches all sorts of flack. And, I'm bringing a couple of things around this. So he said what he said, right?
Right.
Twitter hasn't said one thing one way or the other. I don't believe. LeBron did delete the tweet.
Right.
Now, former President Trump weighed in on the Kentucky Derby winner. Now I don't know what his comments had to do with anything about the Kentucky Derby. Now you can go and say this stuff, and it's it gets published. It dominates the news cycle. We become distracted. But he's calling the horse a junkie. The horse didn't shoot itself up.
But you gotta understand, you're talking about a
so
kindergarten.
You can call a horse a junkie, but LeBron James can't call a person that kills somebody a murderer.
Right.
What? So if it's freedom of expression,
right?
LeBron didn't incite any violence with his comments. Now, the last time I checked, bringing your other comment in, Mac. The last time I checked, the last time that President Trump had.
Don't put president and his name in the same goddamn sentence.
Former President Trump, 45 fizzle that we don't acknowledge. However we want to talk about him. At the end of the day, the last time you had the microphone, everything went bad.
Yeah,
everything went bad. The way I look at it is, look, if we host a barbecue, we host a party, and a fight happens, a shootout happens. If anything of that sort happens to be the thing of the evening, meaning that people don't leave talking about the good time that they had, they left talking about the incident. So if your event has an incident, you did it, you didn't do something right. Like we didn't have enough security, or the things that we said made people feel this way. So man, look, your event was a flop. Your presidency was a flop.
It was a flop before it started, but it goes back again to.
But you had the freedom to express yourself.
It's the freedom that that comes with white entitlement, especially when you have money. You can do that. You can be the dumbest ass in captivity, and because you are who you are, folks will listen to you. And deem you to be successful just because of who you are. When they full-fledged investigate Black folks that have money and have money problems, and they millionaires and billionaires. I never forget when Puffy actually expressed about buying the Panthers. And the white news anchors like, do he have enough money? Is he worth $750,000? Just
while you sitting at the news station.
But the thing is,
don't own nothing.
But he shouldn't have said anything because
he should have moved in silence like lasagna.
He don't have the freedom like his white counterpart to announce what he's going to do. Yeah, because they're going to block it. LL, Magic, and Ice Cube try to start their own league. And what happened? They got blocked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got blocked because of who they are. You know what I'm saying? No, I can't say no criminal background, but the brothers ain't done nothing in the last 20 years. I put it like that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't done nothing in the last 20 years.
Well, look, I mean, now the comments that you're making now, they roll into, the conversation around economic freedom.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say, what I'm understanding you to say is, with obscene amounts of money that Jay-Z, Puff, Cube, with the obscene amounts of money that these three named gentlemen have generated, possessed, collected, saved, stolen, whatever. Even with that amount of money, they still aren't free.
No, because even white counterpart, even about the amount of money, right? Tyler Perry makes a certain amount of money, and everybody keep talking about his Forbes and how much he's worth. Right? You know Tyler Perry. Okay. You know Jerry Seinfeld. How much Jerry Seinfeld worth?
About 3 or 4 times what Tyler Perry worth?
No, he worth $800 million. When the last time Jerry Seinfeld done anything in front of the camera? He did something about a year or so ago.
Everybody say he did a stand up or something, but
the point of it is you don't hear about them. See, the thing is, even with freedom,
is it because Tyler Perry is an anomaly? Like,
the thing is, economic freedom is so different for us that they track, announce everything you do when it comes to financial, right? Everything that you do, and you stand out, no matter what year it is, it's still you're making history as a black man. But it's so common to other folk to make quiet money like that behind the scenes and be worth so much money. You don't hear nobody bragging out there talking about Jerry Seinfeld worth $800 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much when you talk about economic freedom. For one, even with money, you still not free. And then I think for us, we know that economics helps create certain levels of freedom for us. And that's why so many people always try to block it. Right now, you're the poorest damn country in the union. And you said you don't want no more unemployment benefits because there's a handful of people you think that's taking advantage of the system. You think this is going to force these people to get up and go work a job you want them to work. That's go back to the slave mentality. Now, this is the greatest. When you start talking about training slaves, this is where they came. Mississippi was leading the pack. So you still have a somewhat mindset of I'm gonna cut these off to make folks go back to work. These folks are not going back to work. The folks that you're gonna hurt the people that actually need the assistance. But the folks you're trying to hurt, you're talking about that's taking advantage of it, that's sitting up there and sucking up these dollars. What about these big corporations, these millionaires that sucked up all those millions of dollars when the first PPP money first rolled out last year? You weren't saying nothing about them. Let's not forget about all these white rich folks that embezzled money from DHS when you had turned down 98% of the people that was applying for money that needed it. They stole the money.
They stole the money and did something else with it.
But
the thing is, look, and let's say this, like, if you wrong, you wrong. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what ethnicity that you subscribe to. I don't give a damn. What religion that what God you worship on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. At the end of the day, if you wrong, you wrong. But here's the thing: when we end up on the wrong end of it, typically we don't have the legal representation, right? You talk about freedom of justice. We don't have the legal representation, and we don't have people or access to the people that know the loopholes and the things that we can do to maintain our economic and freedom of speech.
Let's back up. Your charges are different, right?
Oh yeah. All right.
So you talk, and both of us have pets, right? Right. You talk about Michael Vick and these funky ass dogs all the goddamn time. You're gonna condemn this damn man for some funky ass dogs that he didn't even do nothing himself. You destroyed his career. You destroyed him. Talking about some funky ass dog. But Brett Favre received $1 million. Somebody he didn't pay $600,000 back of the money that he received that he didn't know was stolen. And a month after he made that comment and gave $250 back, he was out on a golf course playing golf with the person we should not name, number 45 last year. Now, it's cats in the hood that get a hot TV because somebody sold them a TV on the corner that fell off the back of a truck, and they ass going to jail for receiving stolen property. You see what I'm saying? But you can receive that level of money and never, and just say, oh, I'm going to give this back because I didn't know. And never, no investigation. They didn't freeze his assets. Nothing happened to him. Nothing. But you have destroyed black men's lives over just circumstantial evidence.
A bag of dope.
Shit, sometimes it don't even be that far. You know,
a roach in the ashtray.
I'm not a fan of OJ, but they wanted to get OJ. OJ got sent to prison for stealing his own shit that they took from him because they couldn't get him on murder. So they got a civil suit and they took his Heisman Trophy, all the shit he had earned prior to whatever they say he did.
Yeah.
And then he stole his own shit back, and you sent this man to prison for stealing his own shit back.
OJ had pissed them folk off, man.
But they did the same thing to Chris Epps. Chris Epps had property down on Rankin County.
Transportation commissioner?
No, correction commissioner. Right?
Correction. Yeah, Department of Corrections. Yeah,
he wasn't supposed to be there. He went to go get something out the house. They arrested that man. He still owned the house. He wasn't supposed to be on the property. He went to go get like a light fixtures or something, and say he was trespassing. Same state.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, we talk about freedom of justice. It's not even about representation. It's always go like some folks, you shouldn't even be arrested. If you're going to let this other person be able to, you know, to get off with a warrant or handle it a different way, or what was the charges? You know, you getting charged with this versus that is a big difference. But so it is a definite way when we start talking about that. And then let's go to the flip side of it. Here's something conversation nobody want to tread on. Freedom of justice. If what was happening to white community that's happened to black community, they would get that justice by any means necessary. They would shoot first. And as black folk, because of the system, we can't talk openly and freely and say what will happen because, you know, that's you're saying this against. No, it's the truth. This shit would not happen to white folk. White men took over a federal property. I can't remember which state it was. I don't know, it was Wyoming or whatever. They took over a federal property several years ago, right? With arms. And they were trying to talk them out. And they gradually pulled them out by cutting off the power, cutting off the water, all that type of shit, right? Because they are Americans and they were standing up and they had a freedom to protect this and they did all that shit, right? Then went up to the Standing Rock. The same pipeline bullshit, and they were trying to protect their Indian burial ground, but also the waterways by not allowing them to bring the pipeline through. They used the government, law enforcement, paramilitary folks to shoot them with water cannons in icy weather, breaking skin and bone.
Yeah,
treated them. You can't even shoot a dog with a water cannon, a water hose in the winter, but you can shoot people with that. So they did that, and they were
cruel and unusual punishment.
They were protecting their land, and they couldn't even fight back because the folks were seen to be in a position of authority. They couldn't even fight back. But January 6th, you killed an officer with his own weapon. They only so many of them gonna be charged. All of you guys stormed the Capitol. They gave a young 15-year-old 50 years in Madison for sitting in the car when somebody robbed the house. You got adults that took off work, took their funky ass all the way up to DC and intentionally broke into the Capitol.
Yeah.
And you got folks that did not even get charged.
So what's free? I pose this question. So, what's free? Can a person that looks like you and I truly be free in this country?
Freedom is not going to come until I think I was talking to Warren Cloy about this. We were talking about Marvel. I said you couldn't take Steve Rogers to fight Red Skull. It took Steve Rogers to become Captain America to fight Red Skull. He had to get the super serum.
Mm-hmm.
We got a regular little ragged Steve Rogers trying to fight Red Skull. Until we can reach the level that they reach to be able to fight, because people gonna only, as we talk about in financial literacy workshop with Marcus Garvey, is about justice, and you're gonna be able to get it in, economically, science, and physically. And so economically is how we spend our money, who we spend our money with. Science, what are we developing to help our people, and physically, you're not gonna get around it. Folks gonna keep bullying you until they understand that it's a chance I might lose my ass if I go over there. Because in order to get some ass, you got to be ready to give up some. And I know for too many stories, you don't gonna hear about a lot of these in the history books. But I remember Brother Hollis talking about this story. Brother Hollis was talking about when he was, got involved with the movement, got involved with SNCC and the Freedom Riders, and his father had their own land. Saying, I think Brother Hollis was like, he was the youngest out of 12, right? And the white man sent word over to his daddy, telling him that if you get your son out of that stuff, we'll send him to college. He said, no, he's going to college anyway, so he's fine. Well, I'm warning you, this is where Brother Hollis tells the story, that if you don't get him out of it, there's going to be trouble. And Brother Hollis said his daddy told him this, just understand, when you try to come to get some ass, you're going to end up having to bring some.
you might leave a little bit behind.
You might leave a little bit behind. So just understand that.
Yeah.
We are not at that point because we are in that system mindset of still trying to play by the rules with folks that won't play by the rules. And I think I explained it to Warren Cloyd from a martial arts standpoint. I'm in a point match with a street fighter.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to say break after I throw my first punch. Yeah. There's no break and no bail. And you're like, I did right, but they don't care.
Yeah.
So that's what we are as a society. And we have to be just as doggish or as much of a wolf as they are. But I'm not saying what they use to condemn us as religion. Oh, don't be like them. Be better than them. We don't want to. And we keep trying to show them that we are better by taking our hands off and not doing anything.
Yeah.
So that's a different when you go look for trouble. It's a different when trouble comes to you and you don't handle it.
Yeah. When trouble show up at your front doorstep, when trouble open the door, kick it in, come sit down on your couch.
You leave that motherfucker right there. That's when you leave them. And I'm saying that is too much stuff happens.
Trouble?
Now, this is gonna sound real terrible.
What are you doing sitting on the couch with me, Trouble?
This is real terrible, right? Our culture.
Come on with it. What you got?
This is why I said we gotta have our own podcast, because the shit that need to be said, people don't want to talk about. Clearly, there's some people in our community that show they don't mind pulling the goddamn trigger. Because they definitely taking out their brothers and sisters every day.
Yeah, we know that violence happens, next door to wherever you live at. Yeah.
So, but I'm like, what the fuck? It's a situation of we are not working together, and it's thing about it, people are too comfortable. And I'm saying with fighting, we gotta fight with all means, because there is no respect and there is no fear of doing anything to a black man or a woman, and what's going to happen.
Yeah. So there's
nothing. There's no, they're not worried about it.
Yeah. The thing that makes me think of is like, the respect for humanity. And I know that our people on the majority side have a respect for humanity. Historically, and I was a history major at Tougaloo. Historically, there are certain groups of people, certain tribes of this world that have no respect for humanity, or very little respect for humanity. Their mode of operating is, I need to make sure that I survive. It's not about coexisting. meaning that you have your little area over there, and then they'll have a little area over there, and then these folks will be up here, and these folks will be down here, and there might be some folk beyond all of the sides, but it's about they got a pond down there that's full of fish, or these folks they got the river, and they just be doing their thing on the river, so we got to go and get the river, but I think we need that pond too. And it's like, if we still want to work with people in this almost altruistic, this utopian system, and these folks ain't trying to work with us. Now, I ain't saying, it's some folks out there that they want to do business, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, if they can get, if there are some people that say, if I can get a leg up on him and I can put my knee on his neck, I'm gonna do that. Or if I can push them out, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I will use every exploit possible to make sure that I end up on top, and it's not one of them things where let's work together, let's coexist. Them folk ain't trying to coexist.
No,
they want to colonize.
And that's what I mean, and that's what that's why the term was used so I guess freely,
appropriately,
freely in Wakanda, in Black Panther, because that's what you did. You colonized nations. While you took one group of folks from their homeland, you were still colonizing that group. So you were taking over multiple groups of folks. You have the same history with multiple cultures around the world with colonization and forcing your ways upon them. And you did it by tricking. You didn't just do it by just straight brute force. You did it mostly by manipulation and creating what you say a false sense of structure. But the false sense of structure automatically put you in power, right? So you came here to the land and you created
you want to learn and all
a government system, but you never ever put. There never was even a thought in your mind to have a Black leadership or Native American leadership before the Civil War. You took the land. You talking about settling on the land. All this land, the Native American tribe, the different tribes, like you say, was in different areas. Stay there, they stay there. They didn't really worry about it. But you start to take land. And you want to know, like, they can't have all this land. It's theirs. You came to where they were, and you telling them what they can do. So when they when they stop, when they just say, okay, we're just gonna let them stay down there, we stay up here. Then you started to slaughter all of what they used. Started to slaughter all the buffalo. You started to destroy the land, and then didn't respect the sacred land. So you did so much because it's what you wanted, and could nobody. You take 1,000 acres, then you claim it, and then you create a government system and say, this belongs to me. And you can't come on my land. You took the land. So after you stole everything you wanted, then you create a system to say, this belong to me. And I can do this and I can do that. And you can't.
Colonization.
Yeah. But you said what you were doing was creating.
Thiefdom.
You created a system, you townships, and you brought you went into somebody else's shit and took over. Now 2018, 2019, there's a certain loophole to get property. Black guy did that. I'm talking about a $500,000, $600,000 house. It was for foreclosure. He was able to get that house and he moved in. Oh my God. I can't remember what state it was. I don't know if it was Texas or where, but they had a fit. I don't have a problem with him having a house if he buys it just like everybody else. But he did the same thing that you would do. If you had thought about the loophole first, you would have got the damn house and would have had nothing to say. You just don't want him to have the house. That's all it is. You don't want him to have it because if you could have figured it out, you would have got it. And so it goes back to freedom, spiritual freedom or freedom of spirituality. Our biggest thing for us is knowing who we are and whose we are, knowing our true heritage and true culture. And we can go all the way back to the motherland of the continent of Africa, or we can just start here. Can you date back to when slavery started? where was your ancestors? You know what I'm saying? Can we go back that far? Just talk about when slavery was started in the United States, the territory. Did your family or did your family come on the ship, or were they already here? We don't even have to talk about the lineage in folks across the seas in the continent, on the other continent. We can't even go back that far here. We don't know who we are and whose we are. We don't know what our folks done. We got, one thing that Stamps always bring up doing Black history is look within your family to find out what Black history moments were made by people in your family. And technology, TV, even before we got these, TV has spoiled that. And I learned from being raised by my great uncle and grandmother that sit around and do talking, and you learn a lot of history about their auntie and grandmother. And that's how you learn some of your family history, because you got so much downtime. You ain't got nothing else to do, especially sometimes hot, your ass outside on the porch or something. You talking. We don't do enough of that to learn a family history, to learn who we are and whose we are. Understand that you have ancestors out there in the spiritual realm that are waiting on you to wake up, get your third eye open, and lead you to where you need to be, to down your true path. And a lot of us, we keep that closed because we want to be what's comfortable. We want to fit within the norm, because once your eyes open, once you start to see things differently, you can't go back. You can't go back. When you learn the truth about all this shit, it's kind of hard to say, hey, I'm gonna pretend Santa Claus exists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you one more thing. It's like it is truly hard for a person to own their labor and then go back to working for somebody else.
But here's the thing. You were meant to be free. So I always use the term, the cost of freedom is high. Right? The cost of freedom is high. The cost of freedom to have the flexibility that I would need to help take care of my family is costly economically. But it creates a certain sense of freedom to own your own. And
you own your labor. You own your time. You own your labor.
You can create it. If you say, you know what, I'm gonna stay up all night tonight and finish this project, I'm gonna spend the rest of this day with the boys. You can do that.
Yeah.
Long as your ass is disciplined enough to know I got to get this package out by 8 o'clock. If I got to stay up all goddamn night.
When we conclude this, I have to edit one of McRae's auditions, and I got to submit it.
Yeah.
And I know that, and that's my in his empire that we're building for him. That's my role.
And but that goes back, your son will know a certain level of freedom that some of his classmates won't ever know because of what you're creating for him now. And the thing is, and we have this conversation all the time about children, is they are having the appreciation for it. You've been through, you grew up with some of that type of freedom to a certain degree with, working with your dad. So you understand how important it is. And so now you're creating that for your son. Now he might not understand how important it is right now. He might have to go get older and work for somebody else for him to understand, like, damn, it shows a big difference when me and dad was working in our own business. And now I'm working for such and such and such. It's a big difference because you don't see it until then, when your dad's pushing you about, completing projects. You're like, we can do this tomorrow. Nope, let's get it done tonight. And you're like, well, we got time. No, we're going to get this done today, because tomorrow is a whole nother thing. And so that spiritual freedom of knowing who you are and what was taught to you, and you teaching it to him, and understanding that there is, again, the name. You carrying a name. You carrying, that's a whole other type of freedom that you got that other folks might not have, that you can go back and understand the history of your name, and not just the origin of it, but the history of your name when it relates to your father and your grandfather and what they have achieved, and understand that I got to keep this thing going. Reverend Patterson, He went out there and cleared the ground. He started working on the foundation. Chuck is putting some frame together. All right. The finishing is going to be on McCray.
Yeah.
He got to come in Jackson. They got to finish. Yeah. And McCray going to have to start because Jackson going to start when Jackson get old enough, he taking it to a whole other level. So it's so many different things when we talk about freedom and how it relates to us, because we have free feet and slave minds right now. And with having that type of thing, you don't even know that you don't have freedom. It's just like they talk about having the dog on the chain, and the dog don't even know for so long, it don't even run to the past a certain point because it's so used to having the chain on. You don't even have to say anything, don't have to do anything. You know, it's conditioning and training. We have become like that without even somebody saying anything to us. It's certain things that we don't touch, we don't even challenge. Everybody stop and start looking at you like, I can't believe you did this and said that. And you're like, what? And it was like, you know, because you were trying to do, and even the language and stuff that you talk about is different. You know, most of our conversations about how to make money and help our people, not how to spend money. It's about how to make money and help our people. You know, and we don't even say nothing about family because automatic that we're going to take care of family.
Look at that quote right there.
I prayed for freedom for 20 years, but received no answer until I prayed with my legs. Frederick Douglass.
And that means you got to put your hands on the plow.
You got to get your ass in motion.
You got to,
as Chaplain Johnson would say, you got to go and grow.
Yeah,
ain't no other way to do it, man. If you want that shine, you ain't gonna get no shine. If you don't have no grind, man, you got to go and you got to grow. Asshole, my daddy, when he used to go to the job site, and I appreciate you for bringing my dad into the conversation, man. My dad used to say, I need to see assholes and elbows. God damn it, if I see your face, he ain't say, God damn it, that's me.
Yeah,
this is George Patterson 2.0. But the 1.0 version, assholes and elbows. And look, if he saw anything you running your trap, we ain't getting no work done. These folk want their house built. They done paid us this money to get their house built. It's assholes and elbows. Let's go. Yeah, that's it.
One of the best messages I heard, two people I heard that spoke at your dad's homegoing and was talking about freedom. One gentleman, I think he ended up being his deacon. When we talking about how he used to stay in trouble. And he said he'll call your dad at 2:00 in the morning. He went to jail, and your dad would get out of that bed and go get him. He said, "Now I understand." He said, "I understand when Reverend Patterson picked me up."
Oh, it's
a conversation.
It was a powwow. That's exactly what it was.
But your other one was the cousin. He said when his house burned down, he said your daddy didn't say nothing about showing up and praying for you. He said he showed up at the house the next day in his truck. So let's get to work. And it's going to work in creating our own freedom. We keep waiting to something to magically happen, miraculous, whatever the damn is to happen.
Miraculously happen.
Yeah. Before and instead of creating our own freedom ourselves.
Look, listen at this. All right. We keep waiting for magic to happen when we are the magic.
No, we keep waiting for magic to happen when we the goddamn magician or the wizard.
But the thing is, like there is no magician, no wizard. Like we are magic.
We got
it ain't. There's no person like there's this illusion of like a person making magic happen. Nah, man, we the magic.
Yeah. And the thing is putting that into so.
No, I can't. I'm about to share Mississippi Moves plan for the summer. I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Because I started talking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see y'all later. Good. God bless y'all. Good night.
Yeah, right. Look. Let me wait before I put that out there. But it just came to me like creating what we need.
Yeah.
It's you have demand for product, and then you have a product you put in demand. We need to create what we need to address our needs, babe, and keep it very
fill
simple.
the void. Yeah,
keep it very, very simple. We don't have to come and I'm so tired of these goddamn conversations. Technology is the rate of the future. this you got motherfuckers out here that don't know how to tie their shoe and wash their ass, and they can't cook food. They don't know how to do simple shit. But we talking about technology is the way of the future. You got folks out here that still don't have running water, but technology
2021
is the way of the future.
Man, you got they got the you see these commercials where they talk about these smart water systems. Who designs for water? All of these things. Like, man, hold up, man. Y'all talk about who designing for water. Y'all advertising to me on this TV, but it's folk that's 2.5 hours away from me.
It's folks on the coast that don't have running water.
What I'm saying, I'm talking about like a whole city of people. I mean, there are people that do not have running water, like have never had running water to their house.
Right.
But in terms of an industrialized city, particularly a capital city of a state within the grand, scheme of colonization, and this city doesn't have running water, like a reputable and reliable system of delivering fresh water to humans.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that technology is the wave of the future? We having this whole conversation about tech. Yeah. But y'all ass we can't get up enough money to make water work in this city.
Yeah. And when you start talking about, then I'm like, oh, it only gonna cost $5.5 billion, and they throw out a damn number. You looking like, we can't even get 90 million to fix the simple shit. But it goes again. So who gonna work those jobs? Who get that money? Because we don't even have basic resources to balance the budget for public education. So when you start talking about freedom, you cannot talk about freedom.
That's a lie.
Talk about education.
That's a lie.
We cannot talk about freedom.
We got the money. We won't allocate it or spend it where it needs to be spent. That
right. Yeah. And so again, we have to create our own freedom, and we have to quit talking about what needs to be taught. Yeah. While one group is fighting to push the school boards and the curriculum, for curriculums to be changed, we need another group to be fighting to actually we're gonna start this on the community level. We're gonna ask parents to support and volunteer. And I'm saying I go over everything with you, Chuck, of what we're working on, but we have to become that change agent ourselves and create our own freedom and stop waiting on folks to give it to us. We keep waiting on folks to feel sorry for us and say, we're gonna just let you have this because you've been good. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man.
You get your shit and you protect it by any means necessary. You're gonna have to fight to get it, and you make sure that your children and your children's children understand how important this is to your family, and that it must stay, and you must take care of it. And this is part of who we are. We must take care of us. And it's the sad thing about it is we're gonna have some of us that's sick, right? They're gonna try to do harm and do damage to us. That's a norm. It's gonna happen. But for those who want to do something different in their life, they actually want to achieve freedom. As this shirt says, freedom ain't free. Fight.
Nah, it ain't free. You gotta fight for it. You gotta fight for it.
And you're gonna have to fight. And literally, you're gonna have to fight. And not saying that sometimes you might have to fight some of your own people, but you're gonna have to do that because normal is not normal anymore. Right? Dare to be different. Be your own person. Be your own weird or whatever you want to call it. But when you don't fit into certain trends, people got different names. Like, oh, you ain't being this. No. I'm trying to be free. I'm trying to be free. Healthy, happy. I'm trying to have the financial freedom of being debt free. It's so many, healthy free. When a healthy free, I mean that then you are living without having to take medication. It's so much stuff that we talk about when it comes to freedom, and it relates to us because all of those things affect our community. You got folks that are dependent and taking 3 and 4 blood pressure medications
just to try to keep it in check.
Dependent, and they are a slave to their diet and won't change their diet, but they got to take 3 different medications.
You take them pills.
You take them pills, bro.
Look, man, in the words of Coretta Scott King, struggle is a never-ending process freedom is never really won. You earn it and you win it in every generation. So with that being said, we gotta do the work. We gotta put our hands in, get in the mud. We gotta get it out of the mud. I'm not trying to say that we gotta go into the mud of somebody else's backyard.
Somebody said we ain't even any free lunch unless it's your birthday.
Hell, I ain't had no free meals unless I went to one of my partners' house, and I know I done put in enough work with them to where I know that they'll feed me. So, Dan Lewis, we appreciate the comment. But at the end of the day, man, if you don't work, you don't eat. And if we can't struggle alongside each other, then we'll never win anything together. And what I'm trying to win and what I'm striving for, I know that the crew of people that I call my tribe, that we roll with, that we communicate with on the regular, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be free in as many ways as possible within these constructs that we have to operate within. And until we're able to, create and operate within our own constructs, then we know what the playbook is. The playbook will change once we become free.
Yep. You create your own playbook and play by your own rules. And when you play in these different games, and I say the games, you have to play with a mindset that I'm here for a purpose. And I need to get what I need and get on out. And that's one of those things that sometimes you get caught up in having these conversations. And I do, for those who listen, Chuck and I was having this conversation about cryptocurrency, about the Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin. And I was like, Chuck, the folks that are having these other conversations, yeah, we are part of that group, but we ain't on that level. Our purpose in being in this is different from their purpose.
Yeah.
They dealing with a whole different situation. We got to do what's best for us. And that's sometimes you got to know when to hold them or when to fold them, and what works best for you and what's beneficial for you. Because you keep trying to do what you doing. You try to keep trying to do what millionaires do. When your ass got to sit down the budget on how much gas you're gonna get, and not saying that millionaires don't do that, but I'm just saying it's a big difference. So you got to operate in your level of freedom. There's different levels of freedom. Some people are free to do so much stuff. There's people that buy an island. They go buy them an island, don't have to worry about seeing nobody. They just walk around on the beach and just be them, unless somebody flying by. And that does happen, especially with celebrities. People taking pictures of them on their island. Oh, look at such, no clothes on. Shit, you at their house. Shit, you at their house.
You down my doorstep. I'm liable not to have no clothes on.
They on their island. They bought a private island for a reason. You following them.
Yeah,
they not in downtown Atlanta or nowhere. You following them. And so again, even that with freedom, that type of freedom that you can't even express yourself without somebody watching. When you're not even around them, they find you and then talk about what you're doing. And for years they would follow Rihanna home to participate in her native cultural festivals. And so, oh, look what she was wearing. You followed her and took pictures and talk about what she was doing. That's part of her culture. But it goes again that even the freedoms that folks do and everybody else consider to be normal is different when we do it at all times. So I hope this message was helpful to somebody. Show them how to move in a room full of vultures. Jay-Z, man.
Vultures. And that's where we are, man. And I think that's a good point for us to end on tonight.
Yeah.
We are in a country full of vultures. We are in a room full of vultures, no matter where we are. And sometimes, as you alluded to earlier, the vultures may look like you. You may see a person that looks real familiar. And then at the end of the day, like my boy on Boondock said, real recognized real granddad, and you looking real unfamiliar. So sometimes people can be, begin one way and end another. Yeah. And you got to learn how to move around the room when the room is full of vultures, man. So learn that lesson from Jay-Z, learn that lesson from, Coretta Scott King, learn that lesson from Frederick Douglass. A lot of the folks that we've talked about tonight in terms of being able to achieve freedom, Tamika Mallory's organization, Until Freedom. I mean, we got work to do. And we're not going to get it until you start to move as a unit.
Yeah.
Got to move as a unit.
We are definitely what you were saying about with Jay-Z and everybody else creating different levels of freedom, that we have to understand what freedom means to us, our people, our family, and what are we willing to do to achieve it. That's simple. That can't get no.
That's it. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Nightcap Knowledge. My name is DJ George Chuck. That's Mr. Mac over there. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and checking in with us each and every week right here on Black with No Chaser. Freedom ain't free. You got to fight for it. Sometimes you got to aim at teeth. Hopefully y'all will catch us right back here next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Tune in, share, let somebody know, get that shot of knowledge before you head to bed. This is Nightcap Knowledge. We invite y'all to check out the 6th annual Mississippi Black Business Expo, Saturday, August 21st, 2021. That's 12 to 5 p.m. at the Jackson Convention Complex, featuring business workshops, the food court, and the family fun zone, all brought to you by the City of Jackson and Mississippi Black Pages. Also, we want to invite you to check out the support group space for Black women and brown women. That's Bach Therapeutic Counseling, first and third Thursday, 6 p.m., free virtual event. And you can get more information there on BachTCS.com. Of course, as always, we're moving Mississippi forward, all gas, no break. And we want y'all to come to the Mississippi Greek Weekend. It's the return of the Mississippi Greek Weekend, Memorial Day weekend, Gulfport, Mississippi, May 29th through the 30th, 2021. We've got Shoot Your Shot Saturday at the Press Box Daiquiri Bar, and we've got Sunset Social at Elaine's Bar and Grill. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. This has been Nightcap Knowledge every Tuesday, 9 p.m. We'll see y'all. Peace.